I've been living in New Zealand for 16 years now, and I've only just recently gotten back into the habit of enjoying the outdoors, which sounds a little bit crazy given where I live. I live essentially in the middle of Middle Earth, but life just sort of got in the way. And like anyone who works a 9 to 5 and has kids and other responsibilities and stuff might understand what I'm talking about. It's not always easy just to take the time to go outside and enjoy nature. But we've got time today, so I thought I'd take you with me. Oh, okay, we're about to go uphill. I'm gonna try my best not to huff and puff. So I've been really impressed with all the insightful and interesting comments that people have been writing under in some of my videos. And one person said that they remember going for lots and lots of walks with their family members, and it was such a memorable time for them because that was when they were able to actually have conversations, like the types of conversations that you wouldn't normally have with people. I don't know what it is about a combination of being outside, maybe not having a lot of distractions. Maybe it's partially also being on the move kind of helps. Wow, okay. I'm going up a lot of stairs. Right, this was not part of the plan. But it's some magical combination, I think, of all those things that makes it a lot easier to, I guess, open up and talk about some of the more real things. And I wonder if part of the reason some people are opening up in a way in the comment section is because they're at least going for a walk with me in a virtual way, even if they're not physically here with me. Maybe it just creates at least like a echo of the same kind of situation where they feel like they can share some stories and talk about some things that maybe they normally wouldn't, which is interesting. I've definitely felt, maybe since I turned maybe from my early 30s, which incidentally is when I started having kids. I hope you can hear me. It's actually really windy again. From my, I think, early 30s, I just started feeling that it was becoming harder and harder to have deeper conversations with people. It was harder to make friends. It was harder to connect on some kind of deeper level. Actually, after I had my first kid, I really struggled with it. I was in a situation where I was trying to make new friends. My friend group changed completely after I had my first kid. Well, almost. Only a few select people have remained my friends throughout those big life changes. But I was in this situation where I was having to navigate, just making new friends and trying to find some kind of common ground with people and trying to find something that we could kind of bond over. And I really struggled. I just felt that no one was really, most people were not willing to have the deeper conversations that I really wanted to have. Because that's how I kind of bond with people. I I like to talk about things that you wouldn't normally talk to like a passersby about, you know? And yeah, I remember I just really, really struggled, and I was starting to wonder, am I just coming across weird? Is it because I'm like from a different country? You know, why am I struggling so much to make real friends? Not like acquaintances, but real friends. The kinds that you get really excited about making plans with, and maybe you go away on a weekend trip together or something like that. And I don't know, I think I've come to the conclusion that it's not necessarily anything about me that is wrong or not wrong, or I think just in general, people are not as willing to have interesting conversations the way that they used to. I think going back outside, like walking around in a place like this, is a really good way to mitigate that. At least some of it. I think especially if you go walking with your kids. I imagine if you have teenage kids, if you go walking with them, this might be a good way for them to kind of open up about stuff that they wouldn't normally. I don't know. I'm just theorizing. My kids are 4.5 and 6 years old, so a ways to go. Wow, it's really nice. That's not a surprise. I remember a few years ago, we had some acquaintances come to our house for morning tea or something, or coffee. And one of them asked me, "Oh, how are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm not that great," because I was actually having some drama and some trouble at work at the time. And I remember they were so, they almost like recoiled at me saying that I'm not that great. I think they expected me to say, "Oh yeah, I'm good, and how are you?" But instead I said, "Oh, I'm not that great, ... And they just like reacted so aggressively negatively that I actually stopped talking. I changed the subject. I just talked about something else, like something very surface level, because I could see straight away that they were not interested. And like on some level, I think that's fine. It's not like I don't expect every single time that I meet someone that we have some deep conversation. Like, I don't expect to go to someone's house and they ask me, "So, what do you think the meaning of life is?" or something like that. But I will never forget that incident because it was just such a stark reminder that people only these days generally want surface level conversations. So anyway, going back to the comment section, that's one of the reasons I just love reading people's comments, because it's not like people will share stories about their life that these days in face-to-face conversations doesn't really happen. Just another benefit of being outside whenever possible with other people is you might actually have some really interesting things to talk about. Right, I'm looking at a sign. Which way do I go? I'll go this way. Oh, by the way, it's kind of turned into a little bit of a game now for people who are local or recognize a lot of New Zealand locations to guess where I am. So I've started always putting my location in the description. Check that out if you want to. I'm sure by now a whole bunch of people have recognized where I am. And yes, it is absolutely stunning. And yes, it's also only a few minutes away from my house. And this is actually another camping ground as well. I I didn't actually realize, like I didn't appreciate until I was driving out here, thinking back on the previous videos that I had done, just how many places right around my house are also camping grounds. There's a lot of camping around here. Most of these, though, don't have much in the way of facilities, so they're for more kind of hardcore campers. We go to a place that's got, like once or twice a year, we'll go to this place that has all the facilities that a beginner camper would want, so. Wow. And there's no one here. Amazing. I do have a challenge for you. This is related to, well, sort of related to the outdoors. I'll give you the challenge at the end of this video. I'm not gonna lie, I don't 100% know where I'm going. There's been quite a lot of bemused kind of chatter in the comments about my accent, which until I started doing New Zealand specific videos and started getting quite a bit more Kiwis in the comments, I had no idea that my accent was anything but 100% American. But so I did a little bit of research on this, and apparently your accent pretty much solidifies when you are 12 years old. So we left Russia when I was 5, and I left the US when I was like, I guess 22. I hadn't lived in the US since I was 22 years old. And most of that time, up until now, I'm 40, has been in New Zealand. So I think even if I will be living in New Zealand, hopefully for the rest of my life, unless something forces me to move. So I reckon even when I'm 80, 90, etc. Which way is this? No, I don't want to go there. I'll go this way. I'll probably still have like mostly an American accent that's gone a bit funky, I guess. When I go back to the States sometimes to visit, sometimes people will assume that I'm from Australia, because I think that even though my accent is mostly American, there will be some words or some phrases that I say in a bit of a different way now. So if they don't know what New Zealand is or where New Zealand is, they might think that I'm from Australia. And here in New Zealand, actually, when people meet me, they usually don't ask where I'm from. They probably don't care. Or maybe my accent is just sort of neutral enough that it sounds like I could just mostly be from here. It's really funny when I go traveling, like say my best friend and I go on the occasional girls trip, or we'll go and do like a half marathon walking in Hobbiton in New Zealand. When places like that ask where I'm from, I will say I'm from Wellington. And which probably raises more questions in their mind than it answers, but it's just funny. Depending on who asks me, I might have a different answer. I'm from New Zealand, from America, I'm from Russia. So yeah, I had no idea that my accent was as weird as it was. So one thing I have been doing consciously for many years since teaching in Korea was actually trying to tone down maybe the more extreme parts of my accent or the way I speak anyway. So I'm gonna try going this way. So maybe I've been kind of toning it down so much and for so long that it has just sort of morphed into something. Why have I been sometimes toning it down? Because I just don't want to scare anybody. And I think that is just something that I started doing when I was teaching in Korea, and all of these Korean kids were just automatically a little bit scared of me. So I've been trying to tone down a few things about me so that no one gets scared. I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. And it is a bit of a unique experience to have your own kids speak so differently to how you speak. And I think it said from age 6 or 7, kids start to speak a lot more like how their peers speak at school rather than how their parents speak. So in the very beginning stages of their lives, I think my kids had a little bit more of an American accent just because they were around me and copying me. But now they're totally Kiwis. And it's so cute. Oh, speaking of Kiwi accents, my Google Maps has turned into a Kiwi guy. So we received an update. I missed the memo that this update was coming out, I think like last month or something, to Google Maps. And now our one, the New Zealand version of English, is this Kiwi guy who's actually saying some of the local names properly, which is awesome. Right, where am I? Oh, okay. Right, I'm going to film this for you because this is beautiful and it looks a little bit precarious. That's okay, we can do it. Hold on to the tree for support. It's funny, I was actually followed by a police car for a good 10 minutes driving out here. So of course I was just paranoid about the speed I was going at, and I was just wondering if this police person was judging me, following me from behind. And it occurred to me I've never actually been stopped by the police in any country, and I've driven in many countries. People keep giving me driver's licenses. Right. Now I just need to clamber over this. Oh my goodness. Oh, jeez. Whoa. Okay. Worth it. And I remember when I was a teenager, one of my friends got stopped by the police, and she was also like a very just followed the rules, never did anything wrong, so she was freaking out when she got stopped by the police. And it turns out she got stopped because she was going too slow. And the only reason she was going so slow is because she was trying to look for the building that she was trying to get to, and she wasn't quite sure where it was on the street. Oh, imagine coming out here with a book or something, or early in the morning when there's lots of birds out. This just is, I don't know, this is so beautiful. I'm not sure if I'm going to put music with this video or not. Sometimes even if it's just a video of nature walks like this, sometimes I like to put really subtle background music on just to kind of enhance the relaxation vibe. I'm not sure if I will in this video. Let me know how you prefer it. Sometimes it is just nice to listen to the sound of the water or the birds or something. Wow, the water looks so nice. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera, but it's absolutely stunning. It will be ice cold, but it looks like it's an okay place for swimming in the summer, maybe. But you have to be really careful swimming in places like this because the currents can be surprisingly strong, especially if you've got kids. Like, just be careful. Let's see how far we can make it. It's actually really rocky here. I'm not sure if you're really supposed to be just walking around on this part of it. Have I mentioned how nice it is to be outside? It is just, it's so peaceful. It's supposed to get really cold tomorrow, so I thought I would make sure to go out today because I'm not sure if I'll be getting out of my dressing gown tomorrow. Let me be honest. So New Zealand has lots of rivers and streams like this when you go on bushwalks. And one time, just last year, I was walking with my family, kind of like in a place like this, but with lots of little streams that you had to step over to continue along the path. And we were just stepping over so carefully, just trying to make sure that the kids weren't getting their feet wet and, being really cautious and stuff. And then this Kiwi guy in shorts, socks, and just hiking shoes, not gumboots or anything, walked past us through the river. Like he was just walking in his normal shoes, getting his feet and socks completely soaked, walking through the river. And that blew my mind. And I actually, after that, started doing it myself occasionally. I would just work up the courage to get my feet super wet, and then I would start walking through very shallow and safe streams. And it was, I don't want to be a little dramatic, but it was a little bit life-changing, if I'm being honest, because doing that just completely opened up the area. Like, it totally redrew the boundaries. I don't know, like kind of like in a video game when you get past the tutorial section, say in the beginning, and the map opens up and suddenly you have all these areas to explore. That's what it felt like. It was amazing. So I'm not going to do that today because it is deep here, and like I say, you have to be careful. There was someone in the comments on the previous video who said that, yeah, there aren't any predators as such in New Zealand, so you don't have to be afraid of any kind of animals when you're out and about walking, but nature will get you. To the unprepared, overconfident people, nature will get you. I'm gonna have to turn around. Speaking of nature getting me. All right, for any other fellow Lord of the Rings fans, I'm going to show you a Lord of the Rings filming location. If you haven't guessed where I am yet, this will absolutely give it away. So, actually, first I'll go into the spot, and you tell me if you at all recognize where we are, okay? Or what location in the movie it's supposed to be. Yep. Does this look familiar? I will admit, when you are here physically, it is a little bit of a letdown. This is Rivendell from Lord of the Rings. Yes. This is Rivendell. This patch of grass and trees. Anyway, so speaking of nature and things, I have a challenge for you. So someone commented that they thought it'd be quite fun if I presented some kind of challenge at the end of the video. So my challenge to you is to go outside and just either walk or sit with no distractions, like not listening to any music, any podcasts, or anything like that, for 30 minutes. and then tell me about it. So some people will find this challenge extremely easy. Some people might find it hard. I think that for a lot of people, the concept of not actively doing something, like not actively working on your computer, looking up something on your phone, or listening to something, can feel quite difficult. Like it can feel like you're not being productive, and that kind of perceived lack of productivity can feel like you're wasting your time. But I think that quiet time where we're just completely in the moment is incredibly important. I think it's one of the main ways that we can rejuvenate ourselves and just kind of clear our heads and prepare for the next thing that's coming. And I know it can be hard. Like I've only recently stopped listening to something in my earphones when I do these kinds of walks. So now I walk either talking to you or just by myself, listening to nothing but nature. If you are up for the challenge, what did you do for that 30 minutes? And how did you find it? Was it easy? Was it hard? It was not completely my idea. I caught up with a friend the other day who I know is watching this sitting on the couch. I see you. And he said that he sat outside for an hour just listening to, just counting birds. Which is great. What a great way to pass the time, you know? Like, and we're so, I mean, in a general sense, we've sort of lost the, we're so out of practice doing stuff like that, just sitting outside or just focusing on like nature around us or something, you know? Anyway, I think I've done enough rambling. Oh my gosh, it's a gorgeous day today. It's supposed to be really cold tomorrow. I'm gonna do, in the coming week or two, I'm gonna do a bit of a ode to New Zealand winter and kind of show you what winter can be like around here. The good parts and the bad parts. So, but today is just an amazing day. Thanks for spending time with me. I'll see you next time.